We're in Michigan with Buick, and look what got a refresh.
So this is the Encore GX, the entry-level all-wheel drive Buick. Hear that?
It's pretty quiet. I mean, I'm pleasantly surprised.
But you know, the engine note is actually really quite raspy considering what's under the hood of this thing. It's a bit of a shocker. What's under the hood of this thing?
Well, we've got the front-wheel drive model, and it's a 1.3 turbocharged 3-cylinder matched to a CVT, 155 horsepower and 174 pound-feet of torque.
You can also get the all-wheel drive with the 1.3-liter 3-cylinder turbo, but that's matched to a 9-speed automatic, 155 horsepower and 174 pound-feet of torque.
In the US, you've got one more option, a 1.2-liter turbocharged 3-cylinder matched to a CVT, 137 horsepower and 162 pound-feet of torque. That 1.2-liter is only a front-wheel drive model.
So this is the Encore GX, not that expensive. What do you get with it? What are the key standard features?
The Encore GX comes with an 11-inch touchscreen, wireless Apple CarPlay and Android Auto, an 8-inch driver display, cloth with leatherette front seating, heated front seats, heated steering wheel, remote start, LED headlamps, 18-inch wheels, and Buick driver confidence technology. Available features on the base model include the moonroof and the power tailgate.
So we're south of the border, we're in Michigan. It's the same shtick, Andrea. What do we have to put it in?
You got to put it in S for subscribe. And if you can hit that notification bell, you'll be notified when all of our reviews drop, and then you can watch them.
And we do this, the Cup of Car Review, twice a week. The first one drops on Wednesday.
We put another one out on Saturday.
So make sure you like and subscribe, but also follow on Instagram. It's Motormouth_Andrea to see what's going on behind the scenes. For me, it's Motormouth_Auto, and the links are below the like button. So I'm really surprised, Andrea, driving this 1.3, even with the CVT.
Yeah.
It's the torque number that's important. It really does a really good job. And trust us on this, it's shockingly good.
Yeah, when you look at the horsepower numbers right off the bat, you're going to say, boy, that is not enough horsepower for this large a vehicle. But like Zach said, it's the torque that matters. First off, I can't believe this is a CVT. And I was just gunning it there. I can't believe how quiet it is with the CVT.
It's all that Buick quiet tuning they do, Andrea.
Wow.
That's the difference between this and, say, a Chevrolet cousin like the Trailblazer.
Yeah.
They add acoustic glass, more insulation, different suspension. They call it Buick quiet tuning, and it's a real thing.
And the steering is really light on this. You're not going to win any races in this. I mean, let's be clear. But boy, when you're driving in the city, it has sufficient power. It's not a problem. And we're on a highway right now, and gosh, I mean, it really goes.
Torque, it's all about torque. If you didn't know what was under the hood of this thing, you would never guess that it's a small 3-cylinder engine.
In fact, Zach and I at first were thinking to ourselves, is this the CVT? Is this the all-wheel drive 9-speed automatic transmission? We had to ask the engineers about this to know for certain.
And they actually had to dig into it.
They had to dig.
All right, so what is really the story behind this vehicle, and what's the story behind Buick? Well, first of all, Andrea, before we get into all of that, I just want to say, if you've been following along with J.D. Power's 3-year dependability study, following vehicles after 3 years of ownership, Buick has been right at the very top with the Korean brands. This vehicle's made in Korea as well, and it excels in quality.
Yeah, and we got a few numbers from Buick today that were quite interesting. In fact, over 35% of people who own Buicks come back and buy another one, but over 69% are new Buick customers. And guess what? It's a heavily female brand.
I can see why. Back to all the things we just talked about, easy to maneuver, really good driving position, available with all-wheel drive. But I think the real thing is, Andrew, if you're trying to build a brand, what do you want to do? Like what the cousins did, Kia and Hyundai. They offered compelling packaging at a great price, and I think that's where this vehicle is going to really excel. Is like you get a lot of content, and the price is absolutely attainable.
Now for 2024, this gets a refresh, and I think that Buick has done a nice job with some great changes. First off, you've got new front styling, a new front grille. The headlamps are inspired by the Wildcat EV concept. You've got a new Avenir trim, which gives you a little bit more luxury, new wheel designs, and also you've got a rear seat reminder now in this new model.
So this is the ST, the sportier looking one, a little bit more black on the accents with the wheels especially. I think it's a handsome looking small crossover vehicle that's going to be perfect for urban dwellers that need to go maybe out of town once in a while. Really, it's a city runabout.
Yeah, and this sport touring model comes now with a flat bottom steering wheel, and the interior has got some blue trim as well, which gives it a sportier look.
Yeah, the real showstopper though is this new infotainment screen. So you have a digital instrument cluster behind the steering wheel in one panel with the infotainment screen. We're seeing it in other brands, but at this price point, it's pretty attractive.
This is a 19-inch screen, and it's standard. It comes standard with wireless Apple CarPlay and Android Auto, so I'm really impressed with the tech in here. This screen is easy to use. Paired my phone nicely and wireless Android Auto. It's pretty quick. And I know some people look at Buick as a premium brand, but when you look at the price point of these vehicles, it's really going head to head with the Kia Seltos, the Corolla Cross. You've also got the Honda HR-V, and you'll be surprised how spacious this is as well, and comfortable. I mean, the seats are quite comfortable. We don't have a power passenger seat, unfortunately.
And it's fixed quite high, which is okay. I feel like I'm looking down on Andrea a little bit, but I still have quite a bit of headroom. Now I'm in it, it's fairly comfortable. I think they did a pretty good job.
And there's a mix of hard plastic and some soft materials in here. You've got a traditional shifter. There's some pretty good storage for a subcompact SUV.
So the fastest growing segment in the auto industry is the subcompact crossover vehicle, but you don't get a huge amount of space. Here's me getting in the back seat. I would say the rear legroom is adequate. Same with the headroom. How does this stack up to the competition?
Comparing the Encore GX to competitors like the Kia Seltos and Subaru Crosstrek, the Buick offers 40.9 inches of front row legroom, which is 2 inches less than these competitors. Second row legroom at 36 inches does fall short as well. The Crosstrek offers an extra ½ inch more space, but the Seltos an extra 2 inches.
One thing you get on this is a power liftgate, and that isn't even offered by a lot of brands at this price point. So you have a useful cargo space, and underneath there is a real spare tire.
Overall cargo space at 50.2 cubic feet is less than both of these competitors.
I still can't believe that this is a CVT. So it obviously has mimic shift points to make it feel like a regular automatic. So mission accomplished, because we really couldn't tell.
No, I think that you're really gonna like it. Like I said, I know the number seems small. Horsepower, torque's pretty good for this size of vehicle, but once you get in it, it's tuned actually really well.
All right, so this is the ST that we're in. That's the Sport Touring. What other trims can you get?
So you can get the base model, of course, and we went through those key standard features, and now there's this new Avenir trim, which adds leather appointed seating, the 8-way powered driver's seat, a little bit more luxury. And then there's available features as well, like the moonroof, the Bose sound system, and a wireless charger. But if you want those extra features, it's the Avenir.
Okay, so let's get into the price point, because that's such a big part of this whole story in our vital stats.
In Canada, the preferred front-wheel drive model starts at just under $32,500, and the Avenir all-wheel drive model is just over $39,000. In the US, the preferred 1.2T starts at just under $27,000, and the Avenir 1.3T just over $33,000.
So here's the fuel economy for the 1.3 liter with all-wheel drive. 9.1 liters per 100 kilometers in the city, 8.4 on the highway. That's 26 miles per gallon city, 28 miles per gallon highway. This is sold as a premium brand, so you get an extra year's warranty. 4 years, 80,000 kilometers, or 50,000 miles.
I just want to touch on a few things in vital stats. You'll notice that that top Avenir trim is getting a little pricey in Canada for sure, just over $39,000. I think the real value is on this model that we're driving, the Sport Touring. Touring or the base model. Comes with a lot of standard features.
And then the fuel economy isn't really that good considering it's just a 1.3 liter turbo 3-cylinder.
Yeah.
The fuel economy is not that great, especially when you can get a vehicle like a Corolla Cross hybrid with incredible fuel economy. But the good news is you get good torque. As we mentioned, the hottest category is the subcompact crossover. What else can you buy?
For your consideration, 4 vehicles for you to consider.
Up first is the Toyota Corolla Cross with a 2-liter 4-cylinder, 169 horsepower, and a starting price just over $26,000.
The Subaru Crosstrek with a 2-liter 4-cylinder, 152 horsepower, and a starting price just under $29,000.
The Kia Seltos has a 2-liter 4-cylinder with 147 horsepower and a starting price just over $25,000.
The Volkswagen Taos with a 1.5-liter turbo 4-cylinder, 158 horsepower, and a starting price of $27,000.
So there are 4 subcompact crossovers for you to consider.
Lightning round. 2 things we like, 2 things we like to see improve.
I'm pleasantly surprised by the power.
I think the styling on the outside is pretty strong.
I'd like to see that top trim pricing come down a bit on this model.
And considering the engine they're using, I would hope the fuel economy would have been better.